Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Stories with Pastor Macy. Wes is here this morning, and we are ready to open up our book for today, the 13th, and see what we're reading. All right, Wes, you gonna help? No? Okay. Here we go. The Fir Tree by Hans Christian Andersen. All right, here we go. In a lovely corner of the forest grew a tiny fir tree, surrounded by many other trees older and taller. The little fir tree had one wish, to be tall. It did not enjoy the sunshine or the fresh breeze. It was not happy when the children played around it, searching for wild strawberries. Often they gathered a whole basketful. Then, sitting down to rest, they would say, "What a pretty little tree," which angered the fir tree. The next year it was a little taller, then a little taller still. "If I were as tall as other trees," sighed the little tree, "I could see far over the world. Birds would build their nests in my branches. I would bow grandly in the wind." When the forest lay deep in snow, a hare would run by and leap over the tree, much to the tree's annoyance. But after 2 winters it was too tall, and the hare had to run around it. "Oh, to grow, to be old and tall," said the fir tree. In autumn, the tallest trees were felled. The fir tree shuddered as they crashed to the ground. Their branches were stripped off so they hardly looked like trees at all. Then they were hauled away on wagons. Where were they going? What would happen? In spring, when the swallows and storks arrived, the fir tree asked if they had met them. A stork nodded and said, "As I flew home from Egypt, I met many ships with tall masts. They smelt like fir trees." "Oh, to be tall enough to sail the seas," said the tree. "Rejoice in your young life," said the sunbeams. Christmas was coming. Many young fir trees, not as tall or old as our fir tree, were felled. They kept their branches and were taken away on carts. Our fir tree longed to travel with the others. "We know where they're going, we know," twittered the sparrows. "We have peeped in the windows in the distant town and see them planted in warm rooms and decorated with lovely things, apples, sweets, toys, and lighted candles. They enjoy great respect." The fir tree trembled with excitement. "And am I destined for such a life? If only it were Christmas, to be in that warm room, so grand and splendid, and something better surely must follow, or why would they decorate us so richly?" "Be happy in your youth and freedom," said the wind. But the fir tree could not be happy. Throughout the year the fir tree grew, and when Christmas came again, it was the first to be felled. The axe struck deep, and the tree felt great pain, and it could no longer think of grandeur. Suddenly it was sad to leave its home, its companions, the bushes, the flowers, the birds. The tree did not recover till it was unloaded in a backyard and heard a man say, "What a splendid tree!" It was carried into a large room where there was a stove. Picture books and playthings lay on a table. The tree was placed in a tub of sand draped with a green cloth. Then some young women hung its branches with gilded apples, nets of sugar plums and nuts, dolls, toys, and dozens of candles. At the top was fixed a golden star. "The candles will be lit tonight," said one woman. Children rushed in. The grown-ups followed sedately. For one moment the children stood in silence. Then, shouting and laughing, they rushed to the fir tree and tore off all the presents. The fir tree gasped with alarm. It was nearly knocked down, but no one cared about that. A grown-up peered among the branches for anything left, and then they snuffed out all the candles. "Tell us a story," shouted the children, and pulled a little man to sit down by the tree. "Now we are in the greenwood, and the tree itself can listen," said the man. "I shall tell you about Humpty Dumpty, who fell down the stairs, but was raised to glory and married a princess." "Shall I have a part?" wondered the tree, but the tree had already played out its part. When everyone left, the fir tree stood silent and thoughtful. Never had it heard such a wonderful tale, not even from the birds of the forest. Humpty Dumpty fell down the stairs, yet he married a princess, thought the tree. If that is how things happen in the world, then so it will be for me. I will be splendid again and marry a princess. But in the morning, the tree was dragged from the beautiful room up some stairs and thrown into a dark attic. The fir tree leaned sadly in the corner. Long days passed. No one came. The tree told itself, "It is winter now, and I cannot be planted. The kind people are keeping me here safely until spring. But it is so lonely and dark." The tree remembered the forest. How pretty it was when the snow fell. It even remembered with pleasure how the hare used to leap over it. Some little mice visited the tree. "It would be quite comfortable here if it were not so bitterly cold," squeaked one mouse. "Don't you think so, old fir tree?" "I am not old," said the fir tree. The inquisitive mice asked, "Have you been into the pantry, the most beautiful place in the world, where cheeses lie on shelves and hams hang from the ceiling?" "I do not know that place," replied the tree, "but I know a forest where the sun shines and the birds sing." The mice listened eagerly as it told them of its use. "How fortunate you were," they squeaked. Then the tree told about Christmas Eve, when it had been decorated. "Oh, what a happy life you had," cried the mice, "and you tell such wonderful stories." The next night more mice came, and the night after that they brought along 2 rats. The more tales the tree told, the more clearly it recalled everything. "Those happy days may return," it declared, "and like Humpty Dumpty, I will marry a princess." And it recalled a lovely birch tree in the forest, which to the fir tree was a princess. The mice and rats listened to the story of Humpty Dumpty. "Very boring," declared the rats. "Do you only know that story?" "Only that one," said the fir tree. "I heard it on the happiest evening of my life. I never knew then how happy I was." "Well, we have heard quite enough, thank you," said the rats. "We like stories about bacon and tallow candles." Suddenly the mice no longer cared to listen either. They returned to their own friends and left the tree alone. One morning, some people came to tidy the attic. They dragged the fir tree out and threw it downstairs. "Now my life will begin," thought the fir tree, rejoicing in the sunshine and fresh air. It was thrown among the weeds and nettles, but close by beautiful roses hung over a trellis. They were fragrant lime trees, and swallows flew about. "I can breathe again." The tree spread out its branches, but alas, they were all dried and yellow. The gold star, still fixed to the treetop, glittered in the sunshine. Some children were playing in the garden. The same children who had danced around the fir tree on Christmas Eve and thought that it was so beautiful. "Look at the old ugly fir tree," shouted the youngest. He tramped and snapped its branches and tore off the gold star. The tree looked at the boy and the beautiful garden, then it looked at itself and wished it had remained hidden in the attic. It thought of its happy youth, of the wonder of Christmas Eve, the friendly mice. "If only I had been happy when I could," it thought. The gardener chopped the tree into pieces, which burned brightly when they were put in the fire. The children stopped playing to look at the fire. The branches sighed and cracked as if the heart of the tree were breaking. With every crack, the tree thought of a summer day in the forest or a winter night with stars shining brightly. It thought of Christmas Eve. It thought of the history of Humpty Dumpty. And so the fir tree was burned to ashes. The children played on, and the youngest wore the gold star, which the tree had worn on the happiest day of its life. But that all had ended, and this story is ended too, as it is the way with all stories. The end. It's kind of a sad ending to a story, isn't it? Nothing matters, and every story ends just like this one, the end. But I think that this story of the Fir Tree by Hans Christian Andersen can teach us an important lesson, which is we can't just keep looking forward to the next thing. We need to be happy in the moments as they are given to us. As Christians, we believe that there is something after the here and now, that at Jesus' second coming, we will be taken to heaven and we will live there for a millennium and learn more about God. And then the world will be made new and there will be no more pain, no more death. Earth will be restored as it was originally made in the Garden of Eden. And that Jesus will dwell with us in the city of New Jerusalem here on earth forever. And even now, as we live in the already and not yet, the fact that God has overcome the world, but that we are still in the world, God has overcome sin and death, but we still have to deal with those things on a daily basis here and now. Even as we live in that, we look forward to the world made new and to living in heaven, but we experience the joy and the trials and the wonder of our lives right now. And our fir tree was always dreaming of something better, and it couldn't realize that what it had now was really quite special. And so I encourage you, as you look forward to the already and not yet of the Christian walk, that you would also enjoy the right now of life on our world and of our walk with each other and with Jesus. One of the wonderful ways we can experience the right now is coming together with friends and family. And we would love to have you join us for our Christmas services. We have a musical service on the 18th that starts at 10:45. And we have a special Christmas service on the 25th at 10:45. But you can join us at 9:45 for breakfast. No need to bring anything. We would just love to have you and hang out. And we're following social distancing and masking protocols and keeping everybody as safe as we can. Thank you for joining me for the Fir Tree today, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for another story. Bye-bye.